Good morning, everyone. Today is another episode of Arks Trash, which is my podcast, so it will be audio only. But as usual, for my visual listeners out there, I have prepared a bunch of B-roll. Now, today's special guest is Criticaster, and this episode was actually recorded almost 3 weeks ago. So the stuff that we talk about, we do talk about like the NGS Headline as well as Dark Falls Rank 2. But at the time of recording, they were not out yet. So we do a lot of discussions and predictions, and unfortunately, it did not age very well. A lot of our predictions were wrong, if not all of our predictions. But either way, I still hope that you enjoy the conversation as we do talk about like mineral farming, rare drop rate, as well as a whole bunch of other topics. But before we jump into the video, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily. So if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Arks Trash. Today I am joined with special guest Criticaster. Criticaster, would you like to introduce yourself?
I am CriticasterQ, stream on Twitch and also do a whole bunch of YouTube content recently. Basically on Ship 3, play like almost every day, just completely addicted to the game. But yeah. That's me.
Pretty cool, pretty cool. So this is our redemption arc because Criticaster joined me on the podcast last time, but because of a Discord and audio issues and all these other mumbo jumbo, it ended up being a very scuffed episode. So this episode is the redemption arc. Please enjoy the 4K crisp audio. So we're just gonna jump straight into it. So Cavaris has been out for 2 weeks now. What's your impressions of it? Do you like it?
I overall like it. I guess like, I don't know, for me, a lot of things were like half-baked, but also like a lot of things were like really good too. I guess like just to start off with like the story, because that's like the first thing you kind of do. Basically, I think a lot of people would agree that it was very short and almost kind of similar to the other stories that we got in the other regions. But I think the characters were infinitely better than like what we've had so far. I don't know if you think the same. But yeah, the Power Rangers were definitely a favorite for me.
I'm glad you called them the Power Rangers because that was the exact same thing that went through my mind. Like, they're so heavily color-coded. It's like, you've got the red guy that seems to be like the eldest, the leader. You've got the yellow nerdy one. You've got the pink girl. It's so heavily color-coded. Yeah. But yeah, personally, I think that the story is okay. I mean, yeah, it was very, very short. When I completed it, I was kind of like, oh, do we go back to Central? And like, is there a little bit more there? But unfortunately, that was it. So yeah, I agree. I was just kind of like, meh. Oh well.
I think they are releasing more story stuff in like they said August. I don't know if that's supposed to be just like side story, like we got an Alien Retem, or if it's supposed to be like actual additions to the main story, but I'm not exactly sure until we get like some sort of roadmap, maybe in like the next headline, maybe.
Yeah, hopefully. The next NGS headline, at the time of this recording, it will be out in a week from now, or like a week and a couple days. So I am looking forward to that. What are you expecting to see on the headline, by the way?
Definitely a lot to do with like the 10th anniversary coming like next month. It sounds like they have a whole bunch of stuff planned because like they had all the contests, like the illustration and like the item accessory or whatever, and then also the mosaic project, which is still ongoing until the end of June here. Yeah, it seems like they have a lot planned for that. It's probably gonna be another like seasonal event, I imagine. But beyond that, though, they did kind of tease in the last headline that there's going to be a new class coming. I'm at like 99% sure that it's going to be Summoner because they've like name dropped it so much. It's like been delayed. It's like was supposed to come already. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Summoner for that.
Yep. I think the NGS headline is probably going to talk about... we might get the roadmap at the end, but I wouldn't be surprised if Sega just totally forgets it and just like, this is like, yeah, no roadmap. But I am looking forward to the 10th anniversary, most likely a big seasonal event of some sort, and maybe even a web event from like, remember the very first seasonal event we had in NGS? I think it was like the 9th year anniversary of PSO2. We had a web event where you had to like log in or something. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that again, because it was a lot of free goodies, so it was worth it. But Yeah, what do you think is the seasonal element this time, though? Fire?
I mean, it could be fire, unless if they go with like the original rotation they had, because what they had lightning first. So we might go back to lightning for some reason, but that wouldn't quite fit the Cavaris region, because I don't think anything is weak to lightning, but I guess you never know what they're going to do. Yeah, fire would be my guess, or, I mean, they just did dark, so it wouldn't be dark again, so I don't know.
Yeah. And then what about Urgent Quest? Do you think we're going to get a new UQ?
I think we might get something similar to what we saw in the spring event. We actually might get a new special scratch for this event, since it's like so big, like 10th anniversary special scratch, where I get some items from like base game and also some new NGS items too.
That would be nice. Can you imagine like we get access to like some old AC scratches that are just put into the special scratch and you can just earn them like that? Because they've done that. Have you noticed the new mission pass? Like this current mission pass gives you Fairy-C for free. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I did see that. It is like a different color variant, but yeah, they just kind of like hand you Fairy Dash, which I don't know if I really enjoy that choice that they've made there, but like, I mean, it is what it is.
I've been wanting Fairy Dash for the longest time, so seeing it there made me very happy. I was just like, oh, thank God. I don't even need to work towards it. I just get it for free. I'm just like, that's awesome.
Well, yeah, it's like great for people that just like, yeah, just get it. But at the same time, it's like you either had to pay, what, $90 because it was like a bonus scratch thing, and then like the other variant was like Aleo Purple rank 2s only. So it's like, I don't know, it kind of feels like for people that work towards it for those other ways, just kind of got like, I don't know, screwed, I guess, in a sense. I mean, like this mission pass isn't going to be here forever, so not everybody can get this Fairy Dash. That's just like kind of how I view it. So it's like, it's nice to have, but it's just like, I don't know, like just for me, I would like to see the dashes just like have color variant built in. So like say once you get the dash, you can just change the color to anything you want, like a color wheel, basically.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't think Sega would do that though, because, you know, money, money, money. So I'm pretty sure the color variant thing is still gonna be individual items, right? All right, so you know, we kind of strayed off topic there. Let's come back to Cavaris. You know, you said you liked it, but you were kind of like a mixed bag. So you said the story was short. What else?
I guess like I do enjoy a lot of like the other features, or like how many tasks that we got. So like experience was very, very easy to get. So like, of course, a lot of people noticed that like once they logged in, they got that 10 million experience quest from I believe Gaiden was the NPC, which that one just blew my mind. It's like, here's 10 levels for free. It's like, okay, I guess. And then kind of like all the yellow trigger changes, like you can do those like whenever you want. So just like, and then there's like 50 tasks in Cavaris that you can do, like side quests. So just like experience became way easier to earn in this update compared to the previous ones.
So I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like the biggest changes were like the small changes, like the balancing tweaks were like the biggest things for me. One of the things I really liked was yellow triggers. You know, the EXP cap has been removed. Another thing was in combat zones, like the EXP penalty. If the mob is 5 levels below you, you still gain like a decent amount of EXP compared to before. They kind of softened that penalty. Of course, we got our new skills in the skill tree for, you know, especially Braver. You know, I know you're a Braver main as well, so you probably can appreciate having those 2 extra skills where it's like after the third charge of your PA, you use a normal attack and you get that empowered normal attack. How has that been treating you? Have you been like really enjoying Braver now?
It just like changes it so much. It definitely took adjustment to like, oh, I have to normal attack after these combos. I have to normal attack after I counter. But like, you just do so much more damage now with that. Like, I think Braver is actually like one of the top classes now. While, you know, when it first released, it was basically almost the bottom of the barrel, I think.
Yep, I agree. I think Braver right now is one of the most strongest classes, and also one of the more easier classes to get into, because you know, it's quite a simple and straightforward class. The only issue with it that people might not like is it's a melee class, so you are, you know, close and personal when you're fighting like gigantics, or if you're fighting ancient enemies and stuff like that. so it is quite difficult in that sense. However, as the class itself, if you're just, PSE farming, or if you're just gathering materials or whatever, the class feels freaking awesome.
Absolutely. But like, you do say it's like a melee class, but there is still bow. I think like bow is kind of getting better. Like the slow fall definitely helped, but I think, I don't know, like for me, bow definitely needs to be looked at now. I think katana is in a very good spot, but I would love to switch back and forth, like, because that's kind of like the point of Braver, I would think, or one of the main points, is to switch back between katana and bow. And now, like, kind of like moving on to like the capsules that we got, because we got a lot of new capsules that are like essentially like duelable capsules. So like you can combine fossils, or you can combine the gigantics capsules together, so you can get two different potencies without like sacrificing any damage.
So what do you think about those? Have you built a mixed build already, or are you still pure melee potency only?
I'm still just pure melee. Like I said, I think bow still needs some help, but I would love to either do a mix of the katana and bow, or even if I wanted to, I could do melee and tech, like put on some jet boots or something if I really wanted to.
For sure. I don't know. I am pretty traditional. So the reason why I am waiting for new things for the bow, so the big factor that will make me pick up the bow for the Braver is if the bow gets a nuke ability. So the way that I played Braver in the base game was my consistent DPS was with the katana. And then once I charged up my complex PAs, or I think they called it compound PAs on the global side, then I would switch to bow, I would cast it 5 times, deal like, 20 trillion damage, and then switch back to my katana. And then I'll just continue until it charges that up. Once that's ready, rinse and repeat. So the way that I played was just like, okay, the bow is literally this nuclear device. When it's ready, it's like my ultimate. When it's ready, I blast it and I do tons of damage, and then I switch back. And in NGS right now, the bow doesn't have that nuke potential right now. It doesn't have that really long cooldown, crazy amounts of damage skill, which I can just pop and deal like, 10,000 damage, 20,000 damage, and then switch back to my katana, And I think that's what the bow is missing for my personal playstyle. But what do you think is missing to make you switch over to bow, or to play like a hybrid Braver?
I guess like I'm kind of almost on the same boat, but like kind of in a different way. So we've kind of talked about this before on stream, but I was kind of thinking maybe some sort of skip arts in a way, like, cause how you can charge the bow, like, and like it does like way more damage on that final charge. I was wondering like if there might be some sort of way they could make it to where we could skip to that final step like very quick, so you can get that essentially nuke of damage. But there'd have to be like some sort of like limit or cooldown, like you said, to doing that. So you just kind of like switch to it, skip arts to that final step, just do a ton of damage, and then switch back to katana. Or, I don't know, kind of put some sort of like, if you're using katana for so long, then you get like some sort of bonus if you switch to bow, and like some sort of like buff for one or the other. That's kind of what we've kind of, I don't know, thought up of or brainstormed as of late.
I think that's actually a pretty good idea. So like, for example, let's say when you switch from katana to bow and bow back to katana, when you switch, you get like a 10-second buff where it's like your DPS is increased by 50% or something stupidly strong, right? That would incentivize a multi-weapon build, or like, a mixed build for sure. I was thinking something along the lines of like making the Braver even more flashier. So like, let's say that you do a counter. If you do a counter with your katana, like as you do your counter plus, then on top of that, you can like, kick off the enemy and do a backflip and shoot a charge, like a level 2 charged arrow into their face while you're doing that. I think that would be, it'd be a little bit overpowered, and, it probably won't happen, but I think that would be really cool and really funny and flashy if they had that.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Could you imagine? It's just like, oh yeah, Braver's now like a freaking parkour ninja now.
I mean, that's kind of what they're going for with NGS, right? I mean, like, kind of gliding, jumping around, going super fast. So I think that would fit it quite well.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, to be fair, I mean, just to make sure that my audience doesn't freaking destroy me, Braver is in a good spot right now. Katana Braver specifically is in a very good spot right now. Now all of the other classes just need to be buffed to the same level and the same like gameplay loop as the Braver. Because the way the Braver works right now, it's really, really smooth. It feels really fun, very responsive. But the main thing that I really liked about this change was it feels similar to the base game Braver, but with a twist. So if you remember in base game, when we played Braver, it was every third attack would be a double attack. You would hit twice. And so you would weave in between PAs and auto attacks in order to gain that double attack, because you would generate double the PP. And so there was that level of skill. And with this new, with this current patch, the Braver definitely feels like that, where you're doing 3 charges into an auto attack. But the thing is, you can customize how you play, right? Because you can go 3 separate PAs into your auto attack. You can use the same 3 PAs. You can mix and match. And on top of that, you can also weave in counters to get more auto attacks or double attacks. So you can do like 3 PAs, auto attack, into counter, into auto attack again. And it's a huge burst damage, right? It's so much damage.
Yeah, it is definitely a lot of damage. Like, I don't know, I was just like very surprised with it. And it also has ridiculous range too. I think it's like the farthest range like any melee attack goes that I've seen.
It's hit scan as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It just like directly hits wherever you're kind of targeting too, yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to lead it or anything. You just lock onto something, and even if it's like 30 feet in the air and you're on the ground, it still hits, and you're just like, oh, okay, cool, I guess. Oh, man. All right, we got to move on and talk more about the Cavaris combat zones, the Ancients, the new 7-star rarity weapons. But first of all, I want to talk about combat zones. How do you feel about the 2 combat zones currently available?
I think they're more interesting than what we've had just because of the new snowboard action and the throw action. I haven't personally done a whole lot of like traditional combat area farming for Cavaris yet, but I like running around on the board. Like I like the new trials where you like throw the throw actions at like the floating icicle orbs and it like explodes and does a whole bunch of damage. And then also the transport heist, well, sometimes if it's not being difficult with me. But yeah, I like just all the new changes with that. It seems like a more, I guess, like fun for me than what it has been previously.
So what is your favorite, or what is your go-to combat zone? Lost Central or Beluga Ruins?
Well, for Blizzardium farming, but Beluga Ruins, of course, but I would prefer to go to Lost Central, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's strange. So I have farmed in Lost Central exclusively for the past 2 weeks. I've been to Beluga Ruins occasionally, but mainly it's always been Lost Central when I want a PSE burst. And the strange thing to me is it reminds me a little bit of the lower levels in Retem. You know, remember the lower levels in Retem? There was a lot of verticality, and I really hated the lower levels. But for some reason, even though there's a lot of verticality in Lost Central, it just doesn't feel as clunky. It feels good to play there. I think it could be because of the different trials that we're getting there. And there's the throw mechanic, and there's like, you know, you get debris falling from the roof that deals like a bajillion damage as well. It could be because of that. But the mobs in Lost Central are equally as tanky, right? They're really, you meet a lot of boss enemies there, and I don't know why. I just feel like Lost Central just feels good to farm.
Yeah, like maybe it's because like it felt like in the lower levels, like to get up on some of those buildings, you had to go like way out of your way. But in Lost Central, it seems like there's a lot of more natural ways to get up, or just even like the lifts. Like there's a lot of readily available things to get up into these more vertical spots. Yeah, like you said, I think just like all the other little actions too definitely helps with that.
For sure. What about the hoverboarding or the snowboarding thing? Do you like that, or does it feel really weird to you?
To me, I absolutely love it. Like when I first tried it, it took a second, but like I love, like it's more in the exploration zones in the combat area. But I just love going around hitting like all the mining materials like in West Cavaris or Central, and just like hitting yellow boxes, just going around, just I don't know, even like mowing over some mobs too just along the way. But it feels like a way better way to do mining than like what we've had before. Like I don't know, it seems like to go quicker and also yeah, just more fun.
I agree with the more fun part and the quicker part for sure. It's like being able to just collect all your minerals in like one sweep feels really satisfying, and it kind of encourages you to learn how to use the snowboard properly. Because when I first used it, I found it really odd as well. I was kind of just like, this doesn't feel right. But then after a little bit of practice and like understanding that, hey, your left click or the brakes is actually like really important and gives you like a crap ton of control, then I kind of learned, and I was like, okay, so you kind of like left click in order to drift around specific corners. And then the great thing is the minerals spawn in the same spot every single day, at least the ones in your route when you go down snowboarding. And so you take the same paths every single day, and you collect all of your pentalite, you break like, 20 to 30 gold boxes a day. And there's a lot of stuff that you just naturally collect, which is really awesome. So I quite like the snowboarding as well. I think it's very intuitive. But what I'm thinking is, what about the other regions? Do you still go back and collect your minerals in Ritem and Aleo?
Some of the times, because like with Cavaris, we did not get photon quartz. There's nowhere where you can get photon quartz, so I have to go to Aleo and Ritem for that. Like usually I go to Makid for like tetrasite and quartz there, and then I go to like North Aleo for photon quartz there as well. Because I love doing like the capsule exchange where I like upgrade my capsules to 3s because sometimes they sell for better, or I'm just gonna use them personally. But yeah, for the most part, I don't mine other than for photon quartz, or just like if I'm missing a certain mineral. I don't know, like it's just not as enjoyable in those spots because those boards are not there.
I get you. It's interesting because I do my mineral gathering almost every day, and it takes like an hour and a half now in order to do all of Cavaris, all of Ritem, and then I don't do all of Aleo. I do parts of Aleo, mainly just the minerals. So I go from like Central Aleo to North Aleo to South Aleo, and I just totally skip West because West is just convoluted to me. But that, that's an hour and a half just gathering minerals a day. And then you do your dailies, your urgent quests, and your grinding and all of that, and it adds up. You end up like playing like 3-4 hours a day. I'm just like, oh shit, wow, it's time flies, huh? And it's crazy. And it's funny because as I was thinking this, it was posted in the PSO2 or the NGS official Discord that the developers are looking into this, because apparently a lot of JP players have been complaining about it as well, going like, yo, we don't have this much time to collect all the minerals, we want to do the fun stuff, and it's just kind of like, oh cool, so the devs do listen and they are going to do something about it. So do you think we're going to get auxiliaries in the base in NGS?
Oh, like auxiliaries, like where they could get materials for us, like they kind of were doing in base game. I don't think we're gonna get auxiliaries. I don't know, like, because we still haven't gotten anything like personal quarters where that's where it was kind of attached to, kind of. I mean, like it was like Salon and that, but I think I would like to see things where it's like kind of like how we got with randomites. Either randomite comes back, or we get these mega chunks, essentially. So like you hit this mega chunk for whatever amount of damage or whatever amount of hits, and you get like 30 of one mineral. Like I would really enjoy that, because personally I don't really, like I said, I don't go after all the minerals. Like I don't care to, like you said, it takes too long to do all of that. So I'd rather just see something where like, and maybe like once a week or every few days, like these mega chunks spawn where I can just get like hundreds of minerals and then I can just be done. Like I think it would be good to have like a weekly mineral in addition to those smaller ones if you want to go for the smaller ones.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty interesting. So I'm kind of lazy, and so I have a bunch of ideas which revolve around my laziness. So imagine like we have captain spawns right now in combat zones, right? And that's like a source to get mastery capsules and like, you know, dread keepers and all these other ones in a combat zone. Like if we were to implement your mega chunk idea in a combat zone, you're just grinding away and suddenly it's like a trial, and then the trial just giant pillar just sitting there. You just gotta wail on it and beat the crap out of it, and depending on like how much damage your team does or like a collective effort is done to this this pillar, it just drops like X amount of whatever material. I think that would be such a funny idea, and like people would just be like, "Oh look, it's the pillar again." Such a ridiculous idea, but I think that would be pretty funny. So I am a big fan of combat zone farming, and I think Skulls is as well. And so whenever we think of ideas, we're always like, "Yo, can we just implement a way to farm all the things that I want to farm, but in a combat zone?" So something that has been driving me nuts has been the, you know, Blizzardium, of course. Blizzardium is pretty annoying, and that's forced me to go into Beluga Runes. And the thing I don't like about Beluga Runes is the method of farming for the Blizzardium is you gotta remake your room over and over and over and over. And I don't like that. What I was thinking was, if we were to make Blizzardium a farmable material, why not just make the mobs in the Gorge drop Blizzardium? So I could just farm in the Gorge and I'll just kill all those mobs. When the Ancient is up, I go kill the Ancient, and then I continue to grind more mobs for more Blizzardium. And so all of this is just a really long and winded way to lead us into the Ancients. So what is your take on the Ancients? Do you like them? Do you hate them? What do you think?
I really enjoy the fights. Like, how about this? I like the concept. I was disappointed that it's just, it felt to me like it was veterans again, but like with a different prefix. Like it's like, ooh, it's ancient. It's gonna be this next big thing, but it just turned out to be like an AMS and Frostal, basically like veteran, but like beefed up to like, I don't know, Gigantic's stats. But, like, I don't think they're trying to go for like, I think somebody said on Twitter, like, the ultimate quest where you like you have all these bosses in the Gorge that spawn that you can kind of kill, you know, running back and forth, and then like this ancient spawns, which is supposed to be like the main boss that you kill to try to get the better loot, like kind of like at the end of ultimate quest. But basically the only thing that the ancients give on like a consistent basis is like these isolo cubes, which are kind of just like artificially like required you to get for these new 7 stars. And they also drop decolds, which is an interesting choice, like, because like if you're already facing an ancient, you most likely already have 100% resist to be able to face it and not like continuously die or freeze in there. So it's like these decolds aren't really helping this one person out. It's mainly just to put on the market, I guess. I would like to see if they were to keep these AMs in Frostal, that they should have had different, like a different move set, basically, instead of just being exactly the same, because that's what I've noticed, is that they're just the exact same enemy, just tankier, hits harder. Like, that's just kind of been what the shtick has been with NGS so far.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think it's a fair take, but, you know, since AMS is a new enemy type, I don't think it's that bad. But of course with Frostal, you know, Frostal has the exact same moves as, like, you know, every other what do you call it? What are those enemies called? Didals? Like every other Didal? You know, you've got your Didal sword, your Didal axe, blah blah blah, right? They all have the same attack pattern or sets of attacks. So I do understand that, but I'm not gonna lie. When I see AMs, when I see ancient AMs come out of that egg, I'm just like, oh shit, we're all gonna die. But when I see Frostal come out, I'm just like, easy peasy.
Yeah, I do gotta say, like, I love AMs way more to face. Like, I just love that particular boss in general, even like in the Urgent Quest.
Yeah, I think on the Urgent Quest it's fine. The Ancient version, I think, is tough. It's really tough because half the time, like, people can't see what's going on, and it's really hard to like just see his rotation. Like in an Urgent Quest, you've got like 8 people, so I can focus on it. In Gigantics, there's 4 people I can focus on it. Or Purple Trigger, sorry. In Purple Triggers, there's 4 people. I can see his rotation and focus on it. But in the Gorge, with that 32-man area, I just don't know what's going on, because aggro's getting ripped left and right, the people are dying, and like the boss is just going ballistic, and I'm just like, I have no idea what attack pattern is next, so I'm gonna just counter. I'm just gonna keep blocking and hope that I get a counter.
Oh my god. Yeah, I think a lot of people have been complaining about like not being able to see AMs. Like I think that's why a lot of people are like, oh my god, it's AMs. And like, because if there's like a whole bunch of melee people and like you're a ranged player, you just basically can't see the boss. Like there's like all the nameplates, all the damage numbers, and just the people themselves are just like in the way. So it's just like this mass that you're just looking at, and you're like, I guess I'll shoot into it, use whatever. Don't know what's happening in there, but
Yep, exactly. So what do you think they could do to improve the ancients right now? So you said something about decold, right? So if we focus on the loot itself, what do you think could be changed?
Well, what I thought we were going to be getting is like an ancient capsule, like something unique, like augment wise, but we didn't end up getting that. So that was kind of like the thing that I thought was going to be the game changer, like the new, like highest potency capsule. That's what I was expecting. But I guess like, I mean, that's basically it for loot, I think. But I think like the AMS itself, or just Frostal, needs like different move sets from its other counterparts, like the UQ version or the veteran version, etc., or like in the Lost Central versions, because it's supposed to be like this big boss. It's coming out of this giant mineral egg looking thing, so I was expecting like a big fight, you know, drops that I'm excited for, and that just didn't exactly happen.
Yeah, I think this time Sega went a little bit too overboard or overkill with the low drop rate, right? Especially with like the rugged series. Like the rugged series, the 7-star rarity weapon is supposed to be our new relics, right? But relics we saw in Retem, like within week 1, we pretty much had information on every single relic, and we've seen them on the market. But in Cavaris, we've been here for 2 weeks, and there's maybe like 1 or 2 weapons on the market that we've seen. So I think they went a little bit too overboard on lowering the drop rate, even though it is a 7-star weapon. And you know, it felt really weird because 6-star weapons got like outdated or killed in like day 2. So I was just like, wait a second. But yeah, what do you think about the 7-star weapons?
I'm just glad that there's an alternate, like the Kaisar series. I'm just glad that there's something, that a 7-star that we can earn, so it isn't just, like you said, just pure RNG, try to get that relic slash rugged kind of drop, where it's just infinitely just, you know, rare. Like basically nobody gets it. So I'm glad for that, but it is kind of weird that they like killed 6 stars immediately. I guess it's more just like a stepping stone to 7 stars. Like, I mean, personally, I'm going to be using the Sechetl series, like, with my mobbing, because that just has like a good potency, and I use that with my Tector class, because I like to play on that for mobbing, you know, just using Zonde, just killing everything. Yeah, with the 7 stars, they're just like so much of a jump. They're like 200 attack power difference, and like also their potentials are pretty crazy. The only thing that I saw that was like a negative to them was their variance, or like, you know, how their floor potency works. So like you can do half the damage on some of your attacks versus like, what, 75% of the damage for most other weapons.
What's your take on that? Why do you think Sega did that?
With the variance, I think it was just a way to, because like I think some people were already hitting like the cap of like 100% with the floor. So I think it's almost like a way for crit builds to maybe be in the future, like, because like floor potency doesn't really work as well with those weapons. Like it doesn't scale as hard because there's just a lower number. But yeah, I think we might see more crit builds in the future, but I'm not exactly sure, because Kaisar itself has crit rate built into it, with the, I believe, 10% on its potential. So I'm hoping to see, like, I don't know, on armors or augments somewhere, or even class skills, where we get a little bit more crit rate, crit damage. I would love to see that.
Can you imagine if the new armors, let's say that Dark Falls rank 2 drops new armors, right? Let's say that they now have potentials on them. You get these new armors, you gotta unlock a potential, and they can give you like 10% crit rate on each piece or something.
I mean, I would personally love that. I don't know how much of a grind it would be, but I would love to have those. But I wonder what people would think if those new armors were a thing, if they were 7-star armors, because I know a lot of people have already basically completely upgraded their armor sets. Because I know some people upgraded their weapons, like their rocks weapons, and they got pissed that like these 7 stars existed. It's like, oh, basically I upgraded this weapon for nothing. So now if the 7-star does exist with this Dark Falls rank 2 quest trigger, I think people are gonna be even more mad. But like, I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think it's actually gonna be 7-star? Because we're literally jumping from 5 to 7 then. You see, like we're skipping 6 stars, just like the weapons. Like the whole thing about the weapons, 6 stars was like, oh, this seems like a stepping stone, whatever. Do you think they're gonna be doing the same thing with the armors as well, and just being like, oh yeah, your red box armors, that's a stepping stone too?
I mean, there's a possibility. It sounds like it's supposed to be like the hardest content due to like the time limit, so that's kind of like a DPS check there. But then it's also like you can only go down, what, 4 times, and on the 5th time you just get booted out. So like that would be like the kind of a reward I would want to see, if not like, I don't know, some other thing like Blizzardium in there. Like there has to be a reason to do this quest other than just to get Rarity Soul 3s, because in my personal opinion, Rarity Soul 3s are one of the worst boss souls that you could probably have. Yeah, I would like, if there was a 7-star armor, I would not want it to be higher potency than Belgrin. I would like to see, because what's Estato Arga is like 2.25% and Belgrin's 2.75%. I would like to see this 7-star be in the middle with 2.5, probably.
Wait, really? You don't want the 7 stars to be like stupidly ridiculously broken, like 3% potency or something?
I think that would be too big of a jump. Like before we had just 2%, so like we've already jumped 0.75%. Do we really need to jump all the way to 3%? Like, I don't know. I was thinking, because it is Dark Falls, so it's probably, if there was new armor, it's going to be based off of what Schwartz was. So it was basically 1 potency type, but it was the max it could be at the time, so 2%, but it was also kind of tanky too. It was just like that good middle ground where it was like no glass cannon, but still tanky doing damage. So I think we see something similar to that. So I think it would be like 2.5% or even maybe 2.75% with no drawbacks.
Yeah, I think that would be OP. That would be nice. But I think,
yes, it would be nice.
I'm actually thinking, do you think we'll get resistance to status effects like confusion, freeze, all of that? Do you think we'll get like plus 10% or something on each piece or something?
I have no idea. Maybe. I mean, like the things with the armors and Cavaris, that some of them already have like resistance to freeze. So like I think Defraza has like 20%, I believe, and like one armor has something else, maybe. I'm not exactly sure. But we are seeing armors that have that kind of resistance on them like more frequently.
Yeah, for sure. So I need to bring us back to the Gorge again a little bit, because I want to talk about the Gorge itself. So when we did like the first week of content and we first got into Cavaris, we were just like, yo, this Gorge is awesome. You know, you take freeze damage over time, all the mobs are level 64, seems to be like our end game farming spot. And when then the Ancients were introduced, we were just like, yo, okay, let's go kill the Ancients. And then we soon realized, or the common practice was just like, yeah, ignore everything, beeline straight to the boss room, kill the Ancient, peace out, room hop. And you know, do you think that should be the gameplay loop, or like, are you okay with that, or do you think that they should change something?
I think that the Ancients should not have been like veterans at all, like in terms of like their spawn time. I thought it was going to be like Gigantics where they spawn during storms, but I was definitely mistaken on that. Yeah, I would have loved to see like the Gorge itself, because they made it like such a big deal. Like you need this low temp resistance. Like, you get to face these level 64 enemies, like they're essentially like gigantics in themselves because they're just higher level than you. And like, now the only purpose to really be in there is to, I guess, get more decolds, but you can get that from ancients. And yeah, basically the only thing that I see is to farm the rocks weapon from those bosses, because that's like the best way to kill as many bosses, or is like the fastest way from what I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't do that. When I'm farming for rocks weapons, I just go PSE bursting, just regular. But I rock a lot of rare drop rate. So I've realized by running higher RDR, it really makes a difference. So we're gonna go off topic a little bit here because I want to talk about rare drop rate. I feel like the way that Sega has set up rare drop rate, I think there are breakpoints. Because when I just go in with like 30%, 40% rare drop rate, I don't really get anything crazy. Like, everything seems very normal. But when I go in with like, you know, 60, 70, 80% rare drop rate, I start seeing a lot more useful items dropping when I'm going in Lost Central or an urgent quest. It was funny because I went into the Crocodilus urgent quest with like, I think 80% rare drop rate, and we killed a Crocodilus and I got 9 Resurger weapons. I was like, nice. so like, I think rare drop rate, you know, as I said in previous videos when I explained how rare drop rate works, is you know, you just get more items, right? But because you're getting more items, indirectly it increases your chances of getting you know, a good drop. And so I just find it like they have tiers. It really feels like there's a break point. And so I've just been running into combat zones and I've been farming with around 60% rare drop rate, and I've been getting resurgers, not resurgers, sorry, I've been getting rocks weapons pretty consistently, which is really good in my opinion, because that's like, you know, that's like 1 to 2 million an hour basically if I'm selling it, because on ship 2 each rocks weapon, sorry, is going for about 1 million. And you know, how are prices on ship 3 for rocks weapons?
Prices on them, like on ship 3, are definitely like way more. Like from what I've heard, people were farming like before the ancients were a thing. They were farming the Gorge because those 3 bosses were like right in a line, and they just kept killing those, and they were getting rocks consistently from that. But I've personally not gotten a rocks weapon to drop, even though I've been using, like you said, like a whole bunch of RDR or whatever. It definitely seems like there's thresholds to it. Because I was using like a 25% booster, tri boost. I even had like Rappy fritters going, and you know, just like the region mag and whatever else. I had a whole bunch of boosts, and I was like still not getting anything. But like somebody that was using like basically the same stuff, except for they had like a 50% or 100% booster instead, they were getting like way more, even though there was a difference of by like maybe 25% or something like that. Like I noticed that in Blizzardium farms too, like just getting Blizzardium, because I was only getting what, 2 Blizzardium an hour, and some people were getting up to like 10 an hour, 16 even. Like it was just absolutely insane, the difference, even though their RDR was a difference of like almost nothing.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting. Like, I don't know how the Blizzardium thing works, because remember we break that 1 Blizzardium rock on the mountain every day. Like, I wonder how much rare drop rate would you need in order to get 2 a day if you break that rock. I wonder if there's a threshold or like a breaking point where it's like, if you have, you know, 60% rare drop rate or 80% or 100%, that when you break that rock you get more minerals. Because that was a thing with the photon scales. When photon scales was in Retem and you could only collect those 5 ores, there was a breaking point. I don't remember how much it was though, unfortunately, where if you had a specific amount of rare drop rate, you had a chance of getting double the ore when you break 1. So instead of getting 1 photon scale, you got 2. And so I'm wondering, with Blizzardium, what is the breaking point for that? Huh.
Well, I didn't even know that was a thing, so I mean, that's news to me. But that, yeah, I wonder what that would be too. It must be like probably way higher, because I swear I've had like a good amount of RDR, like above at 60%. I don't think I've ever gotten 2 from that particular mineral.
So, while we're speaking about Blizzardium, this is obviously linked towards the Kaisar weapons or the 7-star rarity weapons. So, what weapon are you going for? Have you just given up all hope for Rugged and you're just going for Kaisar?
Oh, I gave up on Rugged as soon as I heard about it. That's just like, because for me, I got Relic 1 week before Cavaris. That was my first Relic drop. So I just know for a fact Rugged is just not gonna happen. Like, it doesn't happen for me. I don't get good drops like ever. So like I've just been V-lining it to the Kaisar weapons basically, because I know I'm gonna be able to get that. But with the amount of resources it needs, I think it's in like an alright spot. Because if you do get the 20 per week once you unlock that exchange shop, that's a decent amount there. And then you can get 1 a day from mining, maybe even like 2 a day if we figure out that rare drop rate thing. But basically every week you can get 27 just from that. And then like sometimes it shows up in like treasure shop, sometimes you get in yellow boxes even if you aren't really farming the yellow boxes too much. So I would say you can probably get like 30 a week, so a little over a month you can get it if you're just playing casually.
Yep. I think that was their original intention. I think their design was like the average player should get this weapon within a month. It's kind of just like the Sanquium weapons. Remember the Sanquium weapons? It took about a month and a half for a normal player to get their Sanquium weapons to potential level 4 because of all those frickin' photon scales. But it was a lot more daunting with the Sanquium weapons because you looked at the photon scales, you're like, what the hell, you need 1200 photon scales? And like, with the Blizzardium, it's like, oh, it's 150. Sure, it is a little bit hard to get, but they've kind of, I feel like they've improved the model of the Sanquium weapons. That was like a beta test. And then this one is like, okay, this is a little bit better. So, okay, no. Sanquium's is the alpha test. This is the beta test. And hopefully whatever we get in the 4th region is going to be like the final product, right? And from then on, we'll have everything smoothed out.
Yeah, I know, like, for a couple things, like with Sanquium, you could just get the weapon. With Kaisar, you don't get the weapon until you get all of the materials, like when you're just done. Then you get the weapon. So that was like a big difference there. I would have liked to have the 7-star first, and maybe like with the potential upgrades, use Blizzardium. And then, what was it? The thing with the rocks weapons not transferring anything was the biggest thing for a lot of people. That just hurts a lot. Like, the augments don't transfer, Fixa doesn't transfer, color variant, nothing. Just the rocks weapon is like just there as a material.
Yeah, that was a very difficult pill to swallow. When I saw that, I was very surprised. I honestly didn't think Sega would do that. But I was trying to think in Sega's shoes and being like, why the hell would they do this? And I came to the conclusion that they just wanted to do like a soft reset on everyone's gear. Like, did you notice when we came to Cavaris, like everything we farmed for before, like in Ritem and Alio and whatever, basically became obsolete, right? It was just like, yeah, your 6-star weapon is just that much better. Like, you can have a Fixa 5 relic katana with like the most god tier upgrades and augments. It's still not going to out DPS like the most basic Chattel weapon or the most basic Evil Eclipse weapon, right? And it was kind of like a soft reset of just like, yep, all of your old gear, now it was great that you made it, it was great that you used it, but we're in the new area now. You got to use the new gear, you got to use the new stuff. And I think that might be a common reoccurring theme that we're going to see when we jump from stars, from 5 stars to 6 stars, 6 stars to 7 stars, so forth and so on. I think it's going to be a very normal thing where it's just like, yeah, because you're upgrading and you're gaining that much power, all of your augments, all of your multi-weapons, color variants, whatever, do not transfer over.
Yeah, I got you. But my question is, why did they do essentially 2 resets in the same update then? Because like you said, a jump from 5 to 6, it just completely blows it out of the water. But why do 6 to 7 stars? My question. That's basically like another reset in itself.
Yeah, that I don't have the answer to that question, unfortunately, because I was very surprised that we got 7 stars at all, right? Like jumping from 6 to 7 in a matter of a day, 2 days, was kind of like WTF. I was thinking that we were going to get a relic series that is a 6-star rarity weapon that is just, you know, the potential is just so crazy and so so powerful that people want that. I was thinking something along those lines, and when I suddenly saw that there was 7-star weapons, I was just like, well, even if there is a 6-star rarity relic, I don't want that anymore, because just from raw damage, you're looking at like 200 damage difference. So it doesn't matter how strong your potential is, it's not going to be as powerful as a 7-star. There's no comparison. And so, yeah, when I saw that, I was just like, nope, I am going to a 7-star rarity weapon. But then, for me personally, I still want the Rugged series. I want the Rugged Katana over the Kaisar Katana. Just because I feel like the Rugged is just better. The Rugged is just better overall, like across the board, in damage, in potential, in potency, in everything.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to agree with you there. Like, I looked at the potentials on the Ruggeds, and they just seem, for the most part, better or just more interesting than the Kaisar. Like, the Kaisar is kind of just like across the board, just all around kind of potential, or it gives you, some potency here, crit rate, PB like gauge increase, and PP consumption reduction or whatever. But like, these Rugged series have very unique potentials.
Yep, exactly. Like the Rugged series just felt like the design team was like, they really worked hard and like made sure that these weapons were amazing. But the problem is like only 1% of the population is going to be able to actually enjoy these awesome looking weapons. I'm just like, bruh. So I'm thinking, Dark Falls. Do you think Dark Falls is going to be dropping these Rugged weapons a little bit more often?
I don't think so. I think there's gonna be something else attached. Like we said, I think it's gonna be like armor or Blizzardium or something. It might have the potential to drop Ruggeds, but I don't know if it's gonna be like an increased chance. I think we won't see like an increased chance until like further down the line, because with Relic we didn't see that until like Mining Rig, because it seems like Mining Rig Retem gives relics pretty often. Because that's how I got my first one, and then like during the same time, a lot of people that got their firsts, or just like even more relics from that UQ. So we might not see Ruggeds appear in like good frequency until like we get almost Volcano, I think.
Yeah, fair. What else was new in Cavaris or in this update so far that we haven't talked about? Anything pop into your mind?
I guess there's just like a lot of other smaller features like field races, alliance tasks, just like a lot of quality of life features too. I don't know if you want to talk about any of those.
Sure, go ahead.
My thoughts on the field races, kind of disappointing. I don't know. I like they're fun, but they almost have like no meaning to them, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know if you've tried it yourself.
I literally did the 3 races to get the star gems, and I never touched it again.
Yep, that's basically what probably most people did. They did like the side quests, did for the star gems. I did notice that you can get sort of good drops sometimes. I was doing the West Retem race, and I got a Deafness 3 out of that as one of the rewards. So that was like not too bad. That's like on ship 3 is like 100,000 Meseta, just for an easy race. But that doesn't happen every time. Like, it's not consistently getting that. It's like once every, I don't know, I haven't tested it, but probably like every 10, 20, 30 races you might get that. I don't know.
I've noticed that there are different ranks for the race, right? It starts at rank 1 and you slowly work your way up. I'm wondering, do the rewards get better the higher the rank you are?
I mean, I would probably imagine so, but yeah, we only have like, what, stage 1 for each race, right?
Oh, is it only stage 1? I thought you would unlock more stages as you continued on. I don't know. I've only done it once on each area.
Yeah, I think each race only has stage 1 currently. Like, there's no more stages other than that. So they definitely plan on expanding it. But yeah, I think we just have those 3 races and the 1 stages for the 1 stage for each.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so I figured out what I want to talk about. I want to guide the topic now to content creators. because ship 3, your ship, has been getting a lot of love recently. I've been seeing all these new content creators popping out of the woodworks. I'm just like, I've never heard of this guy before, but apparently they're doing some really cool stuff on ship 3. And so there's a lot of really crazy things going on ship 3. When the Ancients first came out, I believe it was it Alex that like created a whole raid group, like a raid room, and like had strategies and freaking spreadsheets and stuff. How was that? How was the initial, run?
Yeah, that was Alex West. Yeah, he kind of set up a Discord, kind of got us all together, kind of tried to put us into teams. When it actually came to it, we didn't like exactly establish the teams. We kind of just like went in there with 32 people and just kind of killed the thing. But it was interesting to see like all of this like organization and everything. I hope in the future, like we need that kind of organization for some activities. Definitely not all activities. That would be a pain. But like I would like to see some sort of like raid, like actual raid things in NGS or like dungeons that kind of need a little bit more organization than usual. But yeah, the Alex West, there's Fresh Dynamite doing like Blizzardium farms. Like there's a lot more streamers. I'm not exactly sure about YouTube content creators. I haven't been looking there too much, but yeah, there's definitely like a lot more streamers that I have seen, and like I mean for the most part they're all doing something that is like benefiting the community in some way.
Yeah, for sure. That's something I noticed as well. But something I have also noticed is you are literally streaming in my time zone and you're halfway across the world. What is up with that?
Well, there's a few things with that, I guess. Like, sleep schedules, who knows what those are. But basically like throughout the day, I sometimes do, YouTube videos. But there's also like a thing that we have in our households, or like 2 to 6 p.m. we basically just can't use power. So I basically just sleep through that time, so I don't have to even worry about it. But yeah, that's why I like stream so late. It's just because I'm just doing so much other things, IRL, whatever else. And that's why I stream so late. And also just, I don't know, the majority of the people I know are also up that late, so it kind of just works out.
Fair enough, fair enough. I mean, to be fair, it's a very smart strategic plan because no one is streaming during those hours. And so you have the entire NGS platform for yourself. You're not competing against no one during those hours. Everyone is passed out and dead, and you are there still going strong. So, kudos to you there for the strategic placement. I don't know if that was pure coincidence or was that planned.
I guess it was a mix of both, but yeah, like yesterday, people were ending for the night, and I got like, I don't know, like 6 raids, and it was just like, oh my god, all these people, yeah, basically everybody's like, when I start, basically everybody's like done for the night. So I see, all of those people come in, they even like play with me a little bit here and there, but I see a lot of people on the other side of the world, like either in Europe, just waking up in the morning, or people like in the Philippines. Like there's definitely a lot of Filipino players on Ship 3. Which I am, surprised about, but like I enjoy it a lot. That, like Alex West and Alex West is the one of the Filipino people, and Fresh Dynamite is like from Germany. So it's like you see people all over the world, and when you're up at that hour, you can just see more of it.
For sure, for sure. So looping back to what you said earlier, that you're hoping to see more organized, events and stuff like that. Something that I think is much needed right now is like Blizzardium runs, right? A lot of people are farming Blizzardium. A lot of people need Blizzardium. And so I've noticed that like, Thrift Shopping has done, he has like a full Discord now, as well as his group chat. But because the group chat is so full and it's so messy, he had to like move it onto Discord in order to get people to get things going for Blizzardium farming. And so I am very, very happy to see more of these things happen, because I'm gonna be blatantly honest, I am too freaking lazy to organize any of this stuff, because I don't want to deal with the drama, I don't want to deal with the headaches, I don't want to deal with anything, but I want to join these things because I just want to, I wake up, I log into the game, there's a farm going, I'm like, perfect, I just join it, and boom, it's like clockwork. But I don't want to host it. And that's one of the biggest reasons why when I need to farm specific things, such as Blizzardium, I'm just like, oh man, I'm just dreading it, because I'm just like, I don't want to organize anything. I don't want to deal with all this. I just want to farm my Blizzardium and get out.
I guess for me, I don't know. I have no problem hosting it like whatsoever. Like I find that enjoyable just talking with everybody. What we personally do, like I did set up a channel in the Discord over, but that isn't used quite yet. What we do is we actually have two separate group chats, and there's like a liaison in between that kind of posts the passwords on stream from both groups. This is what we do.
Wow, that's interesting. So is that because like you've got too many people? That's why you need two groups for 200, or
yeah, we have we basically have like 100 people doing it all at once on shift 3. Sometimes like it gets that like crazy. And the rooms like fill up pretty quick. But yeah, there's like two separate group chats with like 100 people in each. Some of it is like a mix, so like it's not exactly 200 people, but yeah, like in one group chat there's like maybe 50, 60 people online at once, and then like another group chat there's, you know, even more. So yeah, there's a lot of people doing Blizzardium farms currently for those 7 stars, but I think eventually we will see it die down a little bit as people get these and are like, yeah, I'm burnt out from doing this, I don't want to do it ever again.
Yeah, for sure. I think that is definitely a common trend, you know? We basically, when Cavaris came out, we were in that golden week where everyone was playing. Like, I've never seen my alliance be so active during the first week. I'm just like, oh my god, I haven't seen these people in like months, and they all pop out of the woodworks. Because, you know, it's the new stuff is here. Everyone's gearing up, everyone's playing the new content, leveling up, blah, blah, blah. And then like the second week, it's just like, okay, now we got to try to optimize. Well, what do we need? What do we need to farm? Blah, blah, blah. And then like, I think in the third week, it's just going to be like, okay, we've ironed it out to a T. These are the things we need to do. Let's go do it. And we're just going to be blasting through all that stuff. And I think Sega is pretty smart with the release schedule. It does feel a little bit like, god dang it, why can't you just give everything at once? But I think Sega does it on purpose because they need to keep like audience retention, right? They need to keep us engaged into the game and wanting to log in every single day. So it's like, yeah, the first week is just the base stuff, right? You know, Cavaris, its region, blah, blah, blah. And then the second week is like, yo, you've got the Gorge, yo, you've got 7-star weapons, you got to farm Blizzardium. And the third week, you know, we've got Dark Falls. And then with Dark Falls, we probably get some armor or something else to upgrade. And on top of that, we're probably going to need some really annoying material, maybe even more Blizzardium in order to upgrade that. And then in the fourth week, we're going to get the NGS Headline. And NGS Headline, we'll get even more information about the seasonal event. And I'm going to laugh so hard if the seasonal event gives you a 7-star rarity weapon. Like, it's not a Kaisar. Maybe it's not as strong as the Kaisar series, but it's like, you know, it's on par. And people, I can see it already. People are going to be like, bruh, I spent like 48 hours farming for this, and people are just going to get it for free.
Yeah. I mean, like, if they go directly to 7-star, that means there's like, what, no 6-star elemental weapons at all? Like, that would be interesting.
That would be so funny.
It'd be so bad. That would suck. It probably wouldn't be as powerful, because I don't think the elemental weapons were ever, like, as powerful as, like, the main stuff anyways, so I guess I won't worry about it too much.
But, yeah. So, about, back to, like, the whole content creation thing. Do you feel like, NGS is doing good right now? Or do you think it still needs improvement? Or what's your take?
Both. I would say both. Like, it's getting better, but also still needs improvement. I think we keep seeing things that are like, oh, here's the foundation, but where's the house? You know, like, where's everything else that's supposed to come with this? Like, with the Alliance task, it feels like it's kind of just, like, half there. Like, most of the quests, you don't even need to be there with your Alliance. And, like, there isn't, like, too many options in the Alliance badge shop or whatever. And, like, you know, there's still Alliance quarters to have, personal quarters, you know, whatever else. A lot more things that, you know, they might add over time. So it definitely feels like we've got the foundation established. Let's kind of build upon that foundation.
Yep, fully agree. I actually think that the next NGS headline might actually show us personal quarters, Alliance quarters, and auxiliaries. I seriously think that might actually be it. Like, we're going to be showing off all this stuff. Of course, we're going to have the seasonal event, and the 10th anniversary, of course, is going to be a big deal. But I wouldn't be surprised if they showed off a sneak peek of being like, yo, Personal Quarters is probably coming out when the 4th region comes out. Here's a sneak preview of what it looks like.
Yeah, I would love to see all that. Like, I have no idea what they would exactly do. Like, I know we have a level increase in like October with like 5 levels, so there might be something there where we go back to like Aleo or Retem or something. I don't know. But yeah, basically beyond that, there isn't like much information yet until we get that headline.
Yep, that is for sure. All right, I gotta wrap things up here. So, you know, Criticaster, do you have anything else you want to say to the audience? Your shout outs, socials, stuff like that? The floor is yours.
Once again, I stream on Twitch, you know, CriticasterQ there, and the same on YouTube, CriticasterQ there. Basically just like want to give a giant shout out to just Ship 3 in general. It's been amazing. Or just like, you know, the NGS community itself. Like we said, there's a lot more content creators out there, so be on the look for those guys as well, like Alex West, Fresh Dynamite, and you know Skulls is on there too, but you know she's stinky, whatever. But yeah, just like everything's been really great so far, and I would like to see it continue to be that way.
All right, perfect. You hear that, Skulls? You're stinky. Anyway. That's it for today's episode of Arks Trash. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you
What
again.
can I say except you're welcome?